Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a pretty revolutionary way of thinking about AuDHD. That's the neurotype that combines autism and ADHD. We're going to uncover why traditional learning can feel like a total survival trap, and how a completely different approach can unlock a state of profound flourishing. Let's get right into it. So, let's kick things off with this idea, which is pretty provocative. An obedient child is not a happy or healthy child. This really makes you stop and think, right? This framework challenges us to see that what looks like simple compliance might actually be a sign that a child has learned to suppress their true self, to believe their own internal world is somehow wrong. And that leads us to this massive question. What if what we've always called bad behavior isn't defiance at all? The whole idea here is that things like meltdowns, shutdowns, or just being distracted, they're not really choices. They are a physiological cry for safety from a nervous system that's been pushed way past its limits and into survival mode. Okay, so let's dig into what this framework calls the AuDHD survival trap. We're going to explore why a traditional classroom can feel so restrictive and chaotic, and what that trap is really made of. You know, at the very heart of the AuDHD experience is this constant internal war. On one side, you have the autistic drive, which is pulling hard toward the safety of routine and predictability. But at the exact same time, the ADHD drive is pushing for novelty and stimulation. It's like having one foot slammed on the brake and the other on the gas. You can just imagine how exhausting that is, constantly being caught between over and under stimulation. So, how on earth does the brain try to solve this conflict? Well, very often it leads to something called masking. It's a survival strategy where a person basically hides their true self to appear normal. But here's the thing, it comes at a huge cost. It takes a ton of energy, draining the battery that's needed for actual learning and growth. And this is so crucial to understand. This is pure biology. It is not a choice. When the brain perceives a threat, and that could be sensory chaos or social pressure, it physically diverts energy away from the learning brain, our prefrontal cortex, and sends it straight to the brainstem, our survival brain. A nervous system stuck in that state is physically unable to learn. It's just not possible. So, if the old map is just leading people into a survival trap, we obviously need a new one. And this framework offers exactly that, a completely new map for what intelligence is and how it actually develops. So check this out. This new map shows that intelligence isn't just one thing. It's something that wakes up in layers. Everything, and I mean everything, starts at the foundation, the survival layer. And its only question is, am I safe? Only when that question is answered with a definite yes can the brain start to move up to the next layers, the emotional, the executive, and finally, the conscious layer. And this illustrates the model's one single, non-negotiable rule. If that foundation is threatened, if there's a tiger at the gate, the whole structure becomes unstable. You absolutely have to have those foundational layers of safety and connection solid before any higher-level learning can even begin to happen. You just can't ask a brain to do algebra when it's busy scanning for predators. So the takeaway from this whole model is simple, but it is so profound. Before we can even think about curriculum or academic goals, we have to establish a deep, real sense of safety. Everything else comes after that. Okay, so what does this look like in practice? It means flipping the traditional model completely on its head and embracing what this framework calls inside-out learning. Instead of an adult dictating the path, this model says we should follow 4 core teachers: our emotions, our environment, our enthusiasm, and our evolving interests. In this world, emotions are treated as valuable data, not misbehavior, and a child's own excitement becomes the compass for learning. The adult's role completely shifts from being a director to being a facilitator. What's so amazing is that this inside-out approach perfectly harnesses the AuDHD mind's natural wiring. It's an attention style called monotropism, a powerful, deep focus on a few key interests. And get this, research actually shows that AuDHD individuals score higher on monotropism than those with just autism. This completely debunks the myth that their attention is inherently scattered. So when this system of safety and interest-led learning is really nurtured, the outcome isn't just a return to normal. It's the emergence of what this framework calls a 10th intelligence, something truly extraordinary. It all starts with the incredible strength of autistic focus. This is the power to tunnel deep into a subject, to go into it with an intensity that uncovers every last detail and leads to true mastery. But you don't just stay in one tunnel. You combine that deep focus with the ADHD drive from novelty, that endless curiosity to branch wide, exploring a huge range of topics and constantly seeking new connections between them. And this is where the magic really happens. In a regulated AuDHD mind, those two drives, the deep focus and the wide curiosity, they stop fighting each other. They start to synthesize. This creates the remarkable ability to see the entire interconnected ecosystem where most people only see a disconnected list of facts. This is the emergent gift, polymathic synthesis. But it doesn't even stop there. Another gift emerges, metacognitive attunement. The very same hypervigilance that was once a draining survival skill, that constant scanning for threats, it gets repurposed. It transforms into a profound superpower, the ability to perceive underlying patterns, unspoken needs, and hidden dynamics with incredible clarity and empathy. Ultimately, this whole journey from survival to flourishing reframes the entire purpose of education. The goal is not just about intelligence, it is coherence, resilience, and light. It's not about becoming smart in a conventional sense. It's about becoming whole, allowing each individual's unique light to finally shine.